Muhammad Abubakar, welcome you to this week's edition of Reflections, where we reflect on the past of those iconic Nigerians that have made the country proud in their respective endeavors. Our guest today is Afe Emmanuel Afe Babalola, SAN, OFR, CON, etc. He is a product of Emmanuel Elementary Primary School in Ado-Ekiti here. Of course, later in the course of the program, we shall hear more on that. He is the holder of 2 bachelor's degrees in law from University of London and economics from the same university. It might interest you, viewer, to know that he became a senior advocate of Nigeria in 1987, and he is a proud recipient of so many awards from within and outside Nigeria. He is as well a holder of so many traditional titles, with the RA being the most coveted. Join me to welcome the guest, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir, I read in your CV that you were born in 1923. In 1929. It is unbelievable that you are still looking strong. I'm quite, hard to believe.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Congratulations for
Thank you very much indeed.
Such a good life. Sir, what would the viewer know about your humble background?
Well, as you rightly said, I was born in this town. And I grew up in the town. As a village boy, we grew up on a farm. And I love farming. It was my wish and hope that one day I would inherit part of my father's land, part of his hoes and cutlasses, but that was good to be. So one day, among his children, he decided to send me to school. And I ran away from school several times.
Wow.
Because, life on the farm was simple and enjoyable. Whereas in school, you were beaten, you were flogged. If you came late, you were subjected to all sorts of rules and regulations. You must wash your hair, you must part your hair, cut your nails, and so on. And if you didn't do well in your tests, you were flogged. Why should I subject myself to flogging when my colleague on the farm wouldn't be flogged?
So it discouraged, you?
I went away several times from school, but my father insisted
that.
And I thank him. I finished standard 6 of those days. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to the secondary school because there was no fund.
There was no fund for you?
No fund.
Oh my God.
I had admission, but there was no fund. So I had to settle down as a pupil teacher in the same school where I passed my standard 6. Fortunately, I met a senior lawyer, a senior teacher rather, who ordered tuition from Wolsey Hall, Oxford, in preparation for Cambridge school certificate. So I started to order tuition from Oxford in Wolsey Hall, Oxford, in preparation for my school certificate at home. So fortunately, I was able to pass my first school certificate, and later the same system. I applied the same system. Did my GC again because of the successes I'd achieved. I took tuition for my BS Economics of London University. So I passed my BS Economics of London University in 1959 privately, and then spurred by my successes, I registered for my LLB degree again of London University, which I passed in 1963 by private study.
Okay. We'll come to that. Okay, so I don't know. I'm sure the viewer might be interested to hear from you some of your mates, those that are still alive, that you can recollect.
Let me tell you one story. Because my school, elementary school where I was teaching, was in the town. And there was only one secondary school then called Christ School, female Christ School by a white man. My colleagues used to come to my house on weekends to eat and drink. And whenever they left, I used to cry and weep because I knew these people were marching on while I was only a teacher. That was what spurred me actually to study privately, to catch them up.
Okay. So when you say you studied privately, what exactly do you mean?
Well, private study is similar to what we call distance learning now. You would register with the correspondence college in London. They will send you the list of books you are going to read and prepare you stage by stage until you are ripe enough to take the examination. The only difference is that you did not see them, whereas in Nigeria today, in the case of distance learning, you have a opportunity of meeting your teachers once every fortnight or once a month. That's the difference between distance learning at that time. Ours was by correspondence. We used to send it by post. We used to go to the post office, send our answers to overseas, be marked, and the marked papers would be sent to us also by post. So that was correspondence.
Okay. So talking about the economics that you first read in the university, what influenced your, you going after economics?
Well, when I passed my advanced level subjects, as a matter of, let me tell you this, it was at that time a rare thing for someone to pass 3 or 2 subjects at a time. I took 4 subjects, and when the result came, it was probably in daily times. 3 Nigerians passed 4 advanced level subjects at the same time.
Including?
I was one.
Wow.
The other 2 were Igbos. So when that qualified me to go to England to study. There were, the university at that time didn't have economics. So I had no money to go to England. So I had to register for the BSc Part 1 examination of London University, again study privately before I took it. And I took the BSc Economics Part 1 Finance in 1958 rather. There were about 80 of us who sat for Part 1 exam, BSc Economics. Only 3 people passed, myself and 2 others.
The 2 others, are they from Nigeria?
They are Nigerians.
Oh, okay.
They are Nigerians. But when I passed the BSc Economics examination, I had offers from different places to come and work at that time because it was probably in the newspapers, the result. You were invited to come and work. Now you applied. Now, I said no. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be on my own. I didn't want to work under anybody. Okay,
so how old were you when you obtained bachelor's degree in economics?
I put my age at about 30 then.
30, okay.
Yes, 30.
Okay.
Then I studied for the LLB again.
LLB, the same university?
Privately.
Why law? Why law?
Why I chose to study law? Well, because at that time, there were few lawyers in the country, including white men. And twice in a year, they used to come to Ado-Ekiti, what was called assizes, to try cases. And when they came, it was a beauty to behold when you saw lawyers with a white beard and their wig. And we young people used to look at them like angels, honestly. And of course, there were white judges as well. And they were using beautiful cars. Honestly, that was one of the reasons.
One of the attractions.
Yes, I was impressed.
Okay. So when eventually you passed out, what next followed?
When I passed my second degree, LLB honors, of London University privately, I couldn't practice law unless I went for 18 months in England for what we call the bar. So I'd saved enough money now with about 4 or 5 years with 2 degrees. I was a teacher, I was earning a lot of money. When I say a lot of money, you know what that means? £674 a year.
It's enough to cater for all your needs.
More than enough. I was saving more than 60% of the money. What was? I had nowhere to go to. Eat, drink, and order books. And train my brothers, that's all. I saved a lot of money. Within 2-3 years, I saved enough money to, 1, pay my passage to England, pay for my tuition fees, and save enough money to take care of myself for 18 months.
Okay.
That's why I traveled.
Were there some Nigerians while you were pursuing the course? Okay.
We went for what we call bar training.
Okay.
We trained for 18 months. I was already a graduate. Like what we call the law school now.
Okay.
After your degree, you go to law school. And you train for 1 year here.
So that you can
start
practicing.
Exactly. That's where you learn the art of advocacy and so on. I went there for 18 months. And
so within the 18 months you stayed in London, how was life there? Were you ever a victim of racism?
When I was there in the first 18 months, I registered as an external candidate for the bar. So I used to work in the evening, I used to attend school in the morning.
Okay. So you were never a victim of racism, which was racism.
At that time? I'll give you 2 examples. If you were in a bus with, say, 30 seats, and you sat in one where you have another empty one, and the whole bus was full. If a white man came in, he would sit next to you. You would rather prefer to stand up in the bus. Okay? There was one morning, I was living in southeast London. I dressed up to go to university. 4 boys ran after me. Young boys about ages of 8 to 10.
Older than much.
White girl.
Okay.
He was saying, Mr. White, Uncle White. And I look back, I say, what do you want? See, what is the time now? You know what they wanted? They expected that I would look at the sun to tell them the time, because they were told that we did not have this watch in Africa, that we only look at the sun.
Wow.
So when they said,
to have an idea of the time.
What is the time? You expect me to say, to look up, say, go and ask your parents. They ran away. Oh, there was discrimination then. A lot.
But it never discouraged you from...
I had, okay.
Because you had a mission in mind.
I had a mission. Let me give you another example. I was tired one evening. I went to a pub very close to my house at about 8 o'clock. I don't drink. Normally I don't drink. So I ordered for a glass of Schweppes. Schweppes is like Coca-Cola.
Yes.
And I sat down in a corner, sipping it for over 1.5 hours. Then one white man came to me and said, you know, they were dancing and enjoying themselves, smoking and so on. I didn't do anything. So he told me, said, mate, that's how you call somebody you don't know. I said, yes. Oh, how are you? I said, well, I noticed that you have been sitting there all along there. I said, yes. Where are you from? I said, from Nigeria. What do you come to do in England? I said, I'm a student and I'm a graduate in economics and law. I'm doing my bar in Lincoln's Inn. I said, you are a graduate? He said, yes. I see. Am I Irish? There's an adage in Ireland. I said, what is this, sir? I said, the wise man keeps his tongue within his cheeks. You are a wise man, that's why you are so quiet.
What a memorable experience. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, when eventually you finished the equivalence of bar,
yes,
did you stay in London or came back to Nigeria?
Very good question. By the time I finished, I had exhausted the money which I saved in Nigeria. I worked in Chelsea, one factory, for 18 months to save money, to buy my ticket back to Nigeria, and also to prepare for takeoff, because I knew nobody was going to help me.
When you come back
So,
to
no,
Nigeria?
so I saved enough money for my passage, then I decided to go to Frankfurt in Germany to buy a second-hand car, which I drove myself through Germany to Switzerland and France to Marseille to come back goods ship.
Okay,
Because
it was
it's cheaper.
shipped to Nigeria.
Yes, and it's also cheaper to go by goods trains. It took me 21 days on the boat to arrive in Nigeria.
What an experience. Okay, so when eventually you came back to Nigeria, did you join the government?
When I came to Nigeria, there were many opportunities.
There were so many opportunities then.
Many friends asked me to join the government, civil service, or to go to the Ministry of Justice, but I said no. I have so much energy, so much industry in me, so much determination, and I don't think it was right for me to work with government. So I applied to one of the most successful lawyers at that time, Mr. Ayola, Mr. Ayola brothers in Ibadan. Very, very brilliant people.
Okay.
Yes, about 10 of us applied to work with him. Most of these people were children of very rich people and the princes and so on. But when he saw my qualification, which was not just ordinary BL or ordinary LLB, I was lucky. I was one of the 6 accepted to work with them. So I served with them for 6 months as a pupil.
Okay.
That was a time when my senior was representing Chief Awolowo, who was charged with treason in Lagos.
Okay, I remember.
So he told us that during the 6 months, you won't be earning any money. I said, it's all right, I want to learn. So one day, very interesting, a white man was defending Ibadan for contempt of court. Came to our office at about 5 p.m. and said, phone to Oga in Lagos. My case is tomorrow. Please, what, are you not coming? Said he couldn't come. Pleaded with my senior. Please come. I will give you extra money. Oga said, okay, that's all right. As soon as the white man left our office, Oga phoned to Ibadan, to his junior, and said, tell Afe to go and defy that man tomorrow. The brother is Jose Ayola, Inyika Ayola, who had just retired from the Supreme Court.
Yes.
I said, I can't go, sir, because I'm a junior person. I don't want to disappoint this white man. He said, Oga said, you must go. I couldn't refuse.
So you went?
So I went home. I read all the books I had. Early in the morning at about 5 a.m.
To prepare for the appearance?
About 5 a.m. I had a knock at my door. Who is that? He said, Yayola. What is that, sir? Well, I knew you were not comfortable last night. I've brought some books for you, which you could use.
To equip yourself?
To equip myself. So when I went to court the following day, the white man asked for my guy, he said, not coming. He almost collapsed. The judge was Joseph Chomolu, a very brilliant judge, chief judge of Western Region then. When the case was called, I appeared for this man. I quoted cases given to me by my senior and the one I knew in support of the fact that the case must fail. So after addressing the court for about 1 hour, the Sumolu said, okay, sit down. He called on the other lawyer to reply to what my submission.
Yes.
That lawyer said, my lord, I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for all these cases. May I have adjournment? The Sumolu was bitter. I said, what do you mean? A lawyer must be prepared for his case at any time. You must know what your colleagues are going to say. You don't get adjournment. Court! He rose for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, he came back. In the meantime, everybody knew that I had won. I was carried shoulder high in the court. And when the judgment was given, my client gave me some money, which I decided to prepare that day. That was the beginning of my big success in practicing in Ibadan.
Wow. Okay, so it marked the beginning of your career as a private practitioner.
Wow. Correct. Wow. Correct.
Okay. That's interesting.
Thank
so,
you.
Sir, how you didn't tell the viewer about your family, the point in time of which you decided to join the family line?
Well, it was to interest you to know that somehow, I don't know how it happened, I didn't like talking to women at all when I was reading, when I was preparing and going through those difficult times. Now I went home I was in Ibadan, I went home one evening to see my parents.
In Ado-Ekiti?
In Ado-Ekiti, I'm from Ibadan. I went out to see a friend in Ado-Ekiti. I came in at about 7. At that time, there was no electricity, mind you. I wanted to go into my room. Then my mother comes, don't go. This girl has come to see you. I said, me? I said, yes. I said, I don't know her. I said, no. I've spoken to her, so we can be friends. I said, so, thank you. I was going, no, take her to your room. I said, Mommy, if this is what you want to do for me, I will never come to this place again. She wept that night. She thought I was a eunuch. Of course I'm not. But I knew what I wanted. And nothing would deter me from achieving my goal. I knew women would do so. So the only time I was walking, reading from Cambridge to GC to BSc to LLB and so on, I had no girlfriend. So, but in England, I met a girl, and later when I finished, that was how I started my life.
In Nigeria?
Of course, in Nigeria.
Okay, she also went probably for studies there.
She was, exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, viewer, if you are just joining us, the program is Reflections. And as I said at the beginning of the program, our guest today is Afe Babalola, SAN. Sir, before the break, you were telling us, or rather you told the viewer, your first victory in the court. I don't know whether you have one of the most memorable appearances you have ever staged to share with the viewer. Just one.
When you talk about illegal practice that has spread over 56 years. It's difficult to mention a particular case. I've appeared for the most successful conglomerates like Shell, like Mobile, the presidents, governors, banks, World Bank, Pfizer, and so on. I don't really know what to say. Perhaps I will mention the case of Abiola. I was also the lawyer to Abiola, Dr. Abiola, whose election was annulled.
I remember.
I led about 32 lawyers to Kaduna Court of Appeal on that day. We had a good case. I came with so many books. I was ready to go on with my case. When the counsel to the government came in, said, what are all these books for? I said, we are going on with this case today. He said, no, we're not going anywhere. The case, do you know that the election had been annulled? I said, we tell the court when we get there. So when the court was constituted, I appeared for Abiola. The other lawyer, forgotten his name now, can I remind? Umiadi from the East, appeared for the government, Babangida. He said, my lords, this court has no more jurisdiction to entertain this case because Babangida has annulled the election. I said, then the court asked me what my reaction. I said, my lord, no order of government, whether military or otherwise, becomes an order until it has been gazetted. So if my learned friend wants the court to hold that there was annulment, he must produce a gazette.
To back up his...
That's what the law will recognize. I said the case must go on. And the court was fully packed. There was silence. Then the president of the Court of Appeal asked Umiadi, do you hear the submission of Abraham now that there's no gazette before us? He said, my lord, may I ask for adjournment for only 1 hour to produce one? Then the court asked me, what's your reaction? I said, well, let him produce one. The court sat down, he went away. Within 1 hour, he was back with 1 page of a gazette saying the election had been annulled. He sought to tender it, it was tendered. Of course, I couldn't have objected to it. So, the court now asked me, we have now a gazette before us. Chief, what's the answer to it? I said, my lord, this is the beginning of a journey, the end of which nobody knows. And it's the saddest day for me in court. That was how the whole court, which was part of full with people, dispersed that day. We are still on that journey. What I said was prophetic. The journey started then, we are still there now.
What a prophecy. Okay. Sir, of recent there have been clamorings for reform in the judiciary. Sir, what is your position on such clamors that are being made? Reform in the judiciary.
This takes me to what the judiciary was when I came to practice in 1963. The court, the judges at that time were regarded as replica of God on earth. they were feared, they were respected. They themselves behaved in such a way that you will believe that they were a replica of God on earth. Their mere presence dictates authority. They were learned, they were well-read, and both of us respected one another. Now, the question is that what we have today now? Let me tell you, when I was exactly 10 years old at the bar, I was invited to the bench because of my performance by Justice Yemadi. At that time, you didn't apply to become a judge, as it's done even in England up to today. You are only invited. But in this country today, people apply to become judges. That is the beginning of the rot we have in
the system.
They will the judges will look at your practice, your knowledge of law, your advocacy and so on, and of course your integrity before you are appointed to the bench. The best judges are the best practitioners of law because they have seen clients, they have interviewed them, they go to the court to meet their colleagues, and they know what it is to be a judge or a lawyer. So when I was invited, I said, look, I came with a poor background. I still want to practice more for at least 10 years before coming to the bench. They sent to Justice Ayola, everybody to beg me. I said, no. I wanted to make enough money. Already I was making it then. You know what happened? A year after, when I turned down the appointment, Yemade, starting from Jose Elias, the Supreme Court president, was removed by a telephone. Was removed by, by telephone, by the military. We used to listen to radio and say, so, I've been removed. So, removed. Only God knows if I had gone to the bench at that time, because of my own idea of law, I would have been removed as well.
Okay.
So, the point I'm making is this. We need to reform the bench. First, let us learn from what happens in England, where we imported legal practice. Who are judges there? They are Queen Counsel, who have really done so well in practice. I've advocated here that senior advocates should be made judges. In other words, instead of appointing 15, 20 years as senior advocate, let us follow what they do in England. Once you are qualified to be a Queen's Counsel, you will be appointed. And these are the people who go to the bench.
Okay.
Instead of allowing somebody who knows he can't do well in practice, who goes to the magistracy or goes to government appointment, and then they rise there, and then they come and cross to the bench.
Okay.
So the quality of the people who are judges is extremely important.
Determines the success or otherwise
of the judiciary itself.
Okay. Sir, let me ask you this question. Sir, this title, RA, briefly, the viewer might be interested to hear from you how it came into being.
Thank you very much. Most people do not know the significance and importance of RA. The Afe for you in those days was an emperor indeed, whose empire extended and covered the whole of Yoruba land up to River Niger, to the north, and to Benin in the east, and to the present Benin Republic. It was a big empire. He needed assistance. Are was one of his noble assistants. Okay. His chosen as his ear, that is his representative in that area.
Okay.
So after I won the case of Abiola, who was to be the Onokokonfu in those days, if you remember, sir,
I remember, yes.
there was a petition against the Alafin that he couldn't make the Abiola,
NTA Abiola.
Emeka Abiola, as
Are owner.
Are. We went to court. It was a celebrated case, and it's still repeated all over now. We won the case in the grand manner. So he tried to reward me with that noble title, Are.
Okay.
Are Ba Mufi of Yoruba land. That is the man who knows everything about law in Yoruba land.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, if you had the opportunity of going around the Afe Babalola University
Yes.
that you founded,
Yes.
so let's hear from you briefly the story behind this edifice.
First, before I answer that, what's your impression of what you saw?
Beyond comment.
Thank you. Now, it was not my wish, it was not my hope that I should start a university. I had and I still have a flourishing legal practice.
So you still practice?
Oh, yes. Now, twice I was invited to take up the position of the Minister of Justice, Federal Minister of Justice. Twice I turned it down because of my lucrative practice, and I don't want to let my class down. However, President Obasanjo, to whom I'm very grateful, after I turned down the second one, called me and said, Chief, there is corruption in University of Lagos. How? That the Vice Chancellor there had established an outreach in South Korea where the university degrees, PhD, masters and so on, were donated without the consent of the Senate. And the university was already torn into pieces, to polarize. So I agreed on condition that, well, I don't need the money for pro-chancellor, I don't need cars or anything. I'll go and serve free.
And you went?
In the university. So I accepted. So when I got to university, I saw the problems of that university, which are also the problems of public university generally.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria. Problems like admission racket,
overstretched,
the poor accountability, the money given by federal government, of course, strikes and so on and so forth.
Overstretched facilities.
Poor facilities. I now invited, first of all, put up a structure of my own for the university as auditorium. Then I invited my clients, Mobi, the Share, Julius Berger, the banks and so on, to come and help to refurbish the place. Julius Berger tarred the roads, free, put up a gigantic engineering complex and refurbish it for the university. Other clients did the same thing, in addition to mine. Soon after, we went into the merit of the scandal. And at the end of the day, the Nigeria University Commission now retained my university, that is, the Lagos University, as the best in the country, and gave me the award as the best pro-chancellor twice in the country. And I became the chairman of pro-chancellors. But unfortunately, the 7th year when I was there, something happened. Basajo had left had left. Graduate came in, and then the secretary to the government, Balarabe Musa.
Secretary to the which government?
That of not Balarabe Musa. Baba Gana Kingibe.
Yes.
Was the secretary to the Yaradua government.
It's true.
He announced on the radio
that
all councils were dissolved. As the chairman of the pro-chancellors, the pro-chancellor came to me and said, look, this was wrong. I said, of course I knew it was wrong because we had 4-year term, which cannot be terminated anyhow unless we were corrupt. They wanted us to go to court. I said, to court for what? If I was serving you free with all I have with my own money, and you say you don't want my service, why should I beg you? I will go to court to say, please force him to accept me to continue to serve him. That's why I left the place. And I ruminated. I said, I had started something. I now need the president of education. What can I do? Here I am, now comfortable as a lawyer, property in Lagos and overseas everywhere, shares in banks. I said, let me start a university, a private university, which will be an example, not only to private universities, but to public universities and to all Nigerians of how university should be run.
Okay.
That's how I emptied my accounts, sold my properties, and I came here to establish this place within 9 years. But the joy of it is that in the 3rd year, the Nigeria University Commission came here and said, this university is a benchmark, reference point for the other universities.
Okay.
And today, it has been credited as...
Then what informed the choice of university in Ado-Ekiti? Why not Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt? Well,
that's a beautiful question, sir. My headquarters was in Ibadan, and I knew Lagos and Ibadan have all the facilities for traveling and so on. I didn't intend to start it here, but simultaneously, by the time I decided to start a university, there was a West Indian in Ibadan who came to me and asked me to build a heritage library for her. I built it about 10 miles from Ibadan. So it was commissioned by the Olubadan, the governor, Akala, and so on and so forth. And then the people said, sir, build a university around this heritage library. We will give you land. The Governor Akala now said, sir, please do. We'll give you light, electricity, water, and so on and so forth. It was published in newspapers.
Yes.
That Afe Babalola University to start at Ibadan. The governor here, a decent man called Governor Oni, saw and read the news and ran to Ibadan. Sir, do not build the university in Ibadan. Bring it to Ado-Ekiti.
Your home.
My home. Say, can you give the same guarantee? Yes. We give you, they want to give me land free here. They want to give me electricity and water. Will you be able to do so? I said, yes, we are going to do the same thing. I felt reluctant. Then he went to the widow of this town. Everybody persuaded me. That's how I could do it. But now I regret it. Because all the promises given by the governor, none of them were not fulfilled. Even the airport, which Governor Oni and myself went to President Jonathan to give us, has not been done. President sited one very close to this place, simultaneously with the one at Bayelsa, Delta, and Gombe. All the other three are working, except our own.
Oh my God. It's regrettable.
So, okay. And now you know what we went through to get to this place. The airport is very close to this place. We could have come to the airport very close to this place now. But
okay, sir. We are also opportunity to visit the multi-system hospital.
Yes.
Briefly, maybe, I don't know, what do you have to say about, what inform your idea of establishing such a majestic building?
Do you mind, sir, if I ask you a question?
Go ahead, sir.
You went into the hospital. You saw the equipment. Is there anyone like that in Nigeria? You have seen?
I've seen. Well, I think I agree with you, sir.
Agree with me? How?
No, that it's well equipped.
It's well equipped. There is none like that in this country. What informed me was that quality and functional education must not stop in mathematics, in botany, in you want to affect the health of the people as well. I applied to the NUC that we would include medicine in our curriculum. It was granted. One of the conditions is that we must have an hospital where we would do the clinical training
for the
and
medical students. Yes.
I went to a state hospital. They told me that that one is being used by a state university. I couldn't use it. Which is the hospital that's next now. I went to the Ido Medical Center. The federal government said, no, you can't use it because it's a medical center and not a teaching hospital. But if you are prepared to fund the place and rebuild it and put up buildings and structures and qualify it as a teaching hospital, then you can use it. Okay. I poured in about 3 billion, put up new structures and so on. And it was
the result of which is
therefore the federal government now raised the status to teaching hospital. That's Ido. It's about 70 miles from this place. That's what we are using. But mind you, within 3 months of the completion of the place, the people went on strike.
And you have your students here?
Yes. Who were there? I pleaded with them. They went back. Within another 3 months, they were on strike. In 1 month, in 1 year, they were on strike 4 times. The one thing that distinguishes a private university from public university is the certainty of the academic calendar.
Okay.
If that happened, then I would reduce to the same level like private public university. That was why, after 1 year of that marriage between us and Ido, I started this one. And fortunately, I invited people from overseas
to come
and advise me before starting it. Again, before you go, please, I invited Johns Hopkins Hospital in America, the biggest hospital in the world, to come and join me. They sent 2 professors here. They saw the plan and the things I was doing. When they were going back to America, yes, I asked my security men to follow them. Before getting to Shagamu, where you have
yes,
overhead
bridge,
at about 2 p.m., they saw a long queue of vehicles, and the occupants were lying down. Robbers were already picking on them. My driver wanted to go back, but again, it was blocked. So the police had to shoot to the air. And then the robbers knew that police were coming. They took their keys. In the meantime, these 2 white men had taken off their coats and were lying on the floor of the car.
Good.
So when these people left eventually, they went to Lagos. When they got to Lagos, they took money out, gave to our driver and so on, and said, "Is this how you rob in Nigeria?" They never came back.
Oh, that was how you missed them.
That's how we missed Johns Hopkins, for example.
Oh, good.
And that emphasizes the fact that we need an airport here because the roads are very bad. You know what we went through to get to this place. And that's from Lagos anywhere.
Okay. We just hope and pray that things will get better, sir. Okay,
it's,
now,
my,
sir,
it's my wish, it's my hope, my prayer.
Yes, sir.
But let me add this. In spite of the problem of roads and accessibility, there are 36 states, excluding Abuja, in Nigeria. All the states, including Abuja, have children here. Children came from all these places. We are the only university which can boast that every state in this country has
represented here
because of the quality and functionality of the education in this place.
Share with the viewer the number of, workers under your payroll, because it appears you are one of the largest employers of labor in this country.
I agree with you. We are certainly. You have not spoken about my farm. You have only spoken about this place and hospital.
Maybe
the total number on the farms, including those here, will be about 3,000. 3,000.
In the farms only?
No, not farmers. The farmers. Every day. That's a lot. 3,000 workers.
Wow.
That's a lot. If you have 5 like that in the town, of course, that's 15,000 people. And it's growing every day.
Okay. Now, sir, lastly, how do you relax?
Looking
at your age. You are 90 plus.
Correct, sir. From the time when I left 36 in 1945, my philosophy had been, he prays most who was hardest. I've been working for an average of 18 hours a day ever since. The only time I rest is when I start to yawn. Usually.
You go to bed.
I do not believe that you should have it set to have it a time set down for resting. I don't believe in it. God doesn't create you to come and rest. He wants to work. If you don't work, you will die. If you work, you will die. Why don't you work and die instead of resting and die?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That was Afe Babalola in the program in the last 50-something minutes, almost an hour. Sir, it's a pleasure having you as guest in the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you, sir. I wish you success in your business. It's on that note that I must say we have come to the end of this week's edition of the program. I hope you enjoyed all what you heard from Afe Babalola in the program.
I hope you come again.
Yes, yes.